again?
I called him twice. They're looking for him. How is he?
I'm not sure. He's bleeding like crazy.
Oh, my God.
It's all over the room. I don't know why people decorate it white. If he doesn't call in 2 minutes, call a hospital.
I'm going to have a cigarette, Ken.
After 18 months, the hell you are. Hold on to yourself, will you?
Oh, I can't believe this is happening. Oh, God! Ken! The phone is ringing. Oh. Hello? Dr. Dudley? Oh, Dr. Dudley. Oh, I'm so glad it's you. Your service said you were at the theater.
Is that the doctor?
Dr. Dudley, I'm Chris Gorman, and my husband Ken and I are good friends of Charlie Brock.
Is that the doctor?
It's the doctor. It's the doctor.
So why didn't you say so?
Dr. Dudley, I'm afraid there's been an accident. I would have called my own doctor, but my husband is a lawyer, and under the circumstances, he thought it would be better to have Charlie's own physician. Well, we just arrived here at Charlie's house about 10 minutes ago, and as we were getting out of the car, we suddenly heard this enormous...
Don't say anything.
What?
Don't tell him what happened.
Don't tell him?
Just do what I say.
But what about Charlie?
He's all right. It's just a powder burn. Don't tell him about the gunshot.
But they got the doctor out of the theater.
Tell him he just tripped down the stairs and banged his head. He's all right.
But what about the blood?
The bullet went through his earlobe. It's nothing. I don't want him to know.
But I already said we were getting out of the car and we suddenly heard an enormous... What? What did we hear?
We heard.
Just a minute, doctor.
We heard this enormous thud.
Thud?
When he tripped down the stairs.
Good. That's good. Dr. Dudley, I'm sorry. I was talking to my husband. Well, we heard this enormous thud. It seemed Charlie tripped going up the stairs.
Down the stairs.
Down the stairs. But he's all right.
He's sitting up in bed. He'll call in the morning.
He's sitting up in bed. He'll call him in the morning.
You.
He'll call you in the morning.
You're very sorry you disturbed him.
I'm very sorry I disturbed you.
But he's really fine.
But he's really fine.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Where are you going?
Him. Thank him and say goodbye.
Thank you and goodbye, doctor. What? Just a minute. Any dizziness?
No dizziness.
No dizziness. What? Can he move his limbs?
Yes, he can move everything. Get off the phone.
But they got him out of Phantom of the Opera. Yes, he can move everything. What? Any slurring of the speech?
No slurring of the speech.
Don't yell at me, you'll hear it. No slurring of the speech.
I've got to get back to Charlie.
Any what? Any ringing in the ears?
I can't believe this. No ringing of the ears.
Yes, a little ringing of the ears.
I told you to say no.
It sounds more believable to have ringing.
Oh, Jesus.
Who? His wife, Myra? Yes, Myra's here.
She's not here. Don't tell him she's here. He'll want to speak with her.
Dr. Dudley, my mistake. She's not here. I thought she was, but she wasn't.
She just stepped out. She'll be back in a minute.
She just stepped back. She'll be out in a minute. Yes, I'll tell her to call. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dudley. Enjoyed the show. Ken and I saw it. We loved it. Especially the second act. Who's playing the Phantom tonight?
Are you going to review the whole goddamn show?
Oh, Charlie's calling me. Just a minute, Charlie. He sounds a lot better. I have to go. Yes, doctor, I will. Don't you ever do that to me again. He must suspect something. I didn't get his name right once.
If anyone else calls, don't answer it.
Then why did you tell me to answer that one?
Because I thought the bullet went through his head, not his earlobe. Fix me a double vodka. I left Charlie standing in the shower.
If he drowns, you're making that call. I don't know why we're always the first ones here. Never came late once in our lives. Someone else could have dealt with all this. Oh, shit!
Who's that?
Am I near the door? Do you see people in here? You think I'm on roller skates?
Let me think a minute.
Take your time, because I don't answer doors. I only speak to Dr. Dudley.
It's all right. It must be Lenny or Ernie or one of the others. We have to open the door.
You've got arms. Reach over.
I've got to dry Charlie down and bandage his ears. Don't tell him what happened. I can have some time to figure this thing out. Can't you stall him?
His best friends are coming to his 10th anniversary. His wife isn't here. He shoots himself in the earlobe, and I'm supposed to make small talk when they come in.
Suicide is a criminal offense, not to mention a pretty ugly scandal. Charlie is deputy mayor of New York. He's my client. He's my best friend. I've got to protect him, don't I? Just play the hostess for a few minutes till I figure out how to handle this.
Play the hostess? There's no food out. There's no ice in the bucket. Where's the help? Where's the cheese dip? Where's Myra? What am I supposed to do until you get back? Play charades? I'm lucky I can still speak English.
You're a lawyer yourself. Can't you think of something to say?
Contracts. I draw up legal publishing contracts. If someone walks in the door and wants to make a deal, I can handle that. Oh, put some slippers on Charlie and tell him to answer it.
Can't you relax? Drink my vodka.
Why is the vodka better than 2 puffs of a cigarette?
Because everybody knows you quit, and if they see smoke in here, they'll know something's wrong.
You mean falling at their feet is going to look better? Oh, God! How many times does this make now? 3? 4?
3.
Why the heck don't you just leave the sucker?
I think we can work it out.
Isn't that what you said after number 2?
Yes, but
You're crazy putting up with it. Divorce him. Get out. You'll get a fortune in real estate alone.
I don't know.
You'll love community property. It makes you feel so equal.
But I hate the thought of divorce.
But Ted's a creep, honey. I've got it.
Now what?
I've got the perfect solution. You murder him. It's the only thing.
What a ridiculous
You'd be
suggestion.
free.
Yes, and I'm sure I'd enjoy all that freedom on death row. Idiot. You always were an overly imaginative person. Since college even. You wrote all those off-the-wall sci-fi stories. Like the one about the gigantic rodents chewing up the leaves.
Listen to me.
Get out of here.
There's only one way to deal with a loser. A guy who rubs your face in it day after day. You bump him.
Please.
Erase him.
You're sounding very Mickey Spillane-ish. Do you know that?
Look, consider it. Might it be easy? Women do it all the time on the Alfred Hitchcock reruns. Do you realize this house is a regular gold mine of things you can use to trash someone with?
Like, for instance?
Like kitchen knives, and iron, and your gas oven, and your garbage disposal with the accent on disposal.
You are a very sick person.
Gas is neat and clean. Look, you put in some cookies, okay? And you have to run down to the market for more chocolate chips. How did you know the pilot light was on the fritz? And Ted's asleep, as usual, in front of the Raiders game. And when you come back, he's history. Perfect.
Oh, sure. And the cops are swarming all over the place, dusting stuff and asking questions. And I'm like this nervous wreck standing there with gas oven written all over my face.
Oh, I'll come over and keep you cool. And then there's always electricity. A nice short circuit, you know? Just jimmy the 220 outlet on the dryer, and when Ted takes a look at it, snap, crackle, pop, instant potato chip.
Good grief.
And then the pool. Ted go right to the bottom with all that Budweiser in him. Zonk, just like a whale full of cement.
You can't be be even mildly serious about any of this.
If I were in your shoes, honey, I'd have his head in the disposal before dinner.
I may be hurt, but I'm not a vindictive animal. And I'll keep my household appliances from becoming murder weapons, thank you.
Well, you better do something before you become the laughing stock of the community, sitting around here like something out of Family Circle, while Ted's out trying to make it with half the women in Riverdale.
That's the rumor?
That's the fact, dear.
Come to think of it, Ted does have tons of insurance.
Oh, goody, 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 goody. Leonard,
I'm busy, Margaret.
this is important.
Well,
How do you address a king?
Majesty.
Not dear, your majesty?
King, it's just your majesty.
Leonard, do you know what? Do you know what?
What?
It's the end.
What are you talking about?
Well, there aren't any more. We've used them all up.
Don't be silly.
It's true, we've written to all the famous people in the world. Every last one.
That's ridiculous, Margaret. There are new ones coming along all the time.
But they can't come along as fast as we can write postcards. Oh, Leonard.
Don't get excited. Stay calm. Try to think. That goes.
It's no use.
Artist.
It's no use.
Ballet dance.
It's no use.
Thanks.
It's no
Congress.
use. It's no use.
Congress.
It's no use.
What is it?
Oh, give up. It's the end.
Can't be the end.
I feel so peculiar. As if I'm dying.
I won't let it be the end.
What's to become of us? What can we do?
We'll fight, my God. We'll fight.
What are you talking about? Sit down. Please sit down, Leonard.
I won't let it end this way. I'll think of something. We can't stop now.
I never thought it would happen. Well, I know I complained a lot, but nobody knows what it's meant to me these 30 years, working with someone as dedicated and serious as you are. Oh, certainly I've been low. I've had my moments of despair. Any woman has. But you've always been an inspiration to me. You gave me something to look forward to, even if it never happened.
I got it.
Leonard!
We'll write to the dead ones. Why not? We'll write to all the dead ones. Leonardo da Vinci, Julius Caesar, Cecil B. DeMille.
But Leonard, they're all dead. How would we get any answers?
Do we get any answers now? Have we ever gotten any answers?
No.
Well, that won't make any difference. Can't you see, woman?
Well, I see, but isn't it sort of creepy?
Isn't any creepier not hearing from the dead than from the living? It's creepier not hearing from the living, isn't it?
I see what you mean. Why, Leonard, you're brilliant.
I use my head,
Oh, it opens up a whole new world. Imagine writing to Mae West. Really? She's always been one of my favorites. Come up, sing me some
Well, we better get at it. There's lots of work ahead. Now, let's see. To start, I think...
Oh, wait a minute, Leonard. What about addresses?
We'll do what we've always done. Don't bother with addresses. Just write the names on the cards and toss them out the window. Somebody is sure to come along, look up the addresses, and mail them for us.
I sometimes wonder how efficient that is.
one of the advantages of being famous. Or disadvantages. And it'll be even easier with the dead ones. They don't move around as much.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, Leonard, please let me write the first one. Please.
After you.
Dear Jane Austen, I can no longer resist the temptation to write and tell you with what delight I have read your novels. They have been constant companions and faithful friends through my life. I am so sorry.
Well,
I was going to say I'm so sorry you're dead. It doesn't sound right, does it?
if you mean it, say it. It's only empty flattery we have to be careful about.
I'm so terribly, terribly sorry you are dead. And I hope you will get well
Hardly.
I am so terribly, terribly sorry you are dead. And I hope you will not find it too great an inconvenience. Affectionately yours.
I don't think we should keep that up. We can't go on telling them all we're sorry they're dead. It consumes space. Besides, people don't like to be reminded of their troubles. There's no need to depress them any more than they are.
Oh, of course not. We'll be as cheerful as little birds. Your turn, Leonard.
Dear Hannibal, let me tell you, the way you got those elephants over the Alps was the neatest trick of the week. I'd have been afraid to start. Well, I'd never been a great one with elephants in the first place. But you pulled it off and ought to be congratulated. Sorry not to have written sooner. Your friend.
A world of good. Just knowing somebody cares. Dear Florence Nightingale, when I think how you alleviated the pain and suffering of others during your lifetime, it makes me proud to be a woman. Hardly a nurse today heads for the bedpan without a backward glance at your shining example. Admiringly yours.
Dear Jean Harlow,
Jean Harlow.
I don't wish to presume, but I should like you to know that ever since I first saw you in Double Whoopee, I have loved you passionately, wildly, uncontrollably. My dearest, darling girl. I take you in my arms and cover your face with kisses. In the darkness of the tomb, your hand is in mine, and through the coldness of eternity, I warm you with the breath of my sigh.
of me.
It was only a postcard.
Only a postcard. What a postcard.
I was just trying to cheer her up.
Well, why don't you try to cheer me up sometime? Why don't you write me a postcard? Dear Margaret, I love you wildly, passionately, uncontrollably. I ache for your touch. I burn for your lips. Your frantic lover, Leonard.
Is this what you desire? You tigress, you vixen, you she-cat.
It's a beginning.
This man, if you remember last of the Red Hot Lovers, Barney has been trying to have an affair. Trying is the key word here. He's never very successful, and you'll see why in this scene.
Hello. Come on in.
I'm in. You look surprised. Didn't you think I'd come?
I wasn't sure. I was hoping, but at last you're here. Oh, let's see. I'd have been disappointed if you didn't come, would you?
Be disappointed if I didn't come? No, I know I wasn't coming, so there'd be no disappointment.
Anyway, hello. Let's see. I'm forgetting your name. Let's see.
You're forgiven. Elaine Navazio.
Is that of Italian origin? Navazio?
No, I'm of Polish persuasion. Mr. Navazio is of Italian origin. What extraction are you of?
Actually, I'm part Russian and part Lithuanian. My real name isn't Cashman. It's Chernifikaski. When I first came, I rolled it up. My grandfather told me when he came to this country that when he went to Ellis Island, that if anyone gave him any trouble with the immigration there, he should give the man some cash. So when they asked my grandfather his name, and they couldn't understand him, he gave the man some cash. And that's the name they gave him, Cashman.
That's an extremely interesting story.
I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I was just making conversation. You mentioned Mr. Navazio, so I assume you're married.
Mr. Navazio assumes I'm married. I assume what I want.
Well, I didn't notice a marriage ring, so I was wondering.
Can I have a cigarette?
A cigarette? Wouldn't you rather
You just borrow it once in a while.
No, nothing like that. It's my mother's apartment.
You're not actively serious.
I'm very serious. This is my mother's apartment. My mother lives here.
Is she going to join us?
She works for Mount Sinai 2 days a week. She doesn't get home until 5.
Well, that'll make things interesting.
Would you like a drink?
Desperately. You brought glasses too?
I picked them up at Bloomingdale's. I was thinking of getting them for the restaurant.
You were afraid if you dirtied your mother's glasses, she'd know someone was here.
Well, she's a very meticulous woman. And if she came home and found things different, I'd have to explain. And it could get very complicated.
I think you did the smart thing. How many ice cubes did you bring?
I didn't go quite that far. But would you like some ice? I'll get some for you.
Forget it. We'd spend the rest of the afternoon wiping fingerprints off the tray.
She's very typical. You know, she knows exactly how high the pillows were puffed when she left.
Are you going to talk soft like that all afternoon?
Was I talking soft?
I know that's not your natural voice because I hear you yelling a lot in the restaurant. The lady wants broiled halibut, not baked halibut. Are you talking soft because you think that's sexier? Because I don't find it sexy. I find it hard to hear.
I'm sorry. It's just that these new buildings have paper-thin walls. And there's this little old lady next door who's home all day. And if she were to hear deep voices, she'd get to wonder.
So what's the plan? You whisper and I clean house in a high squeaky voice?
No plan. We'll just both talk natural.
You got a pencil and paper? We could pass notes.
I didn't mean to inhibit you. Look, I'm talking loud and clear in my natural voice. Is that better? Does that make you feel more comfortable?
Much. Is that your wife I see once in a while in the restaurant? The tall blonde woman with the space shoes?
That's right. How did you know?
Well, I figure the only person who'd come in and take money out of the cash register and leave without saying a word is either a mute cook or a wife.
She does that once a week. She goes to the bank on Fridays.
So here it is Friday, and your wife's at the bank in her space shoes, and your mother's rolling bandages at Mount Sinai, and you're alone with an attractive woman with an empty glass.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you sure I couldn't get you some ice?
Positive. You just did it again.
Did what?
Smells your fingers. That's the third time you've smelled your fingers since I'm here.
Did I do that? I don't even remember it. How do you know?
Is that an occupational hazard? Owning a fish restaurant and always worrying how your fingers smell?
Well, it is opening all those clams and oysters. I enjoy doing it. I do it 8 dozen times every morning. That's for the last 20 years. I've used soap and perfume and aftershave lotion, even turpentine. They're all right for a few hours, but by 4 in the afternoon, it comes back in just like the tide.
I wouldn't worry about it if I were you.
Well, it's not the suavest thing. I mean, sitting here with an attractive woman smelling my fingers. You're a very unusual woman. And I remember when you first came into my office, my restaurant. I hadn't seen you there before. And suddenly, you're back for 8 lunches in a row. What is it, a special high-protein diet?
I get cravings
You mean to eat?
to eat, to touch, to smell, to see, to do. A sensual physical pleasure that can only be satisfied at that particular moment.
Like after an hour of handball, a cold Pepsi.
I'm going to have trouble with you. Why? Look, Mount Sinai lets out at 5. We've got an hour and 50 minutes. Okay, you want to make the first move?
Boy, you really are very open about things, aren't you?
In other words, you're not going to make the first move.
Sure I am. Certainly. I just thought we'd finish our drink. You know, Mrs. Navazio, you were...
If you're going to keep calling me Mrs. DeVazio, you'd better get out a deck of cards.
The thing is, Elaine, I find you an extremely attractive woman.
Well, thank you.
I told you the first time in the restaurant. Wasn't that the first thing I said to you?
No, the first thing you said to me was, try the scallops.
Yeah. I mean, after all, that once I got to know you better, then, I felt more at home with you.
No, the first personal thing you said to me was, I've never seen such beautiful fingers in my finger bowls.
Yes. Yeah, I did say that. Well, after all, I'm no George Bernard Shaw, but for me, I thought it was clever. It was corny, right? Well, actually, I dabble a little in writing myself.
Oh, you dabble?
Oh, nothing serious, but I get a kick out of it. You've read some of my stuff.
I have?
Sure.
Where?
In the menu. Sweet, savory, swordfish steak, swimming in salivary succulence. That's fine.
Very catchy. It's got a nice beat.
I don't write visual. I write for the ear. Sweet, succulent, savory, swordfish steak. Anyway, I get a kick out of doing the menus. Did you see the one I did on flaming Florentine flounder?
I browsed through it. What time is it now?
It's 3:20.
That's another 10 minutes shot. So what's it gonna be?
My God, you really come straight to the point, don't you?
Look, you wrote down an address and apartment number on the back of a 980 check. Then I come here and find out we've got an hour and 50 minutes before your social working mother with the high squeaky voice comes home to examine the puffed pillows. Now, if we had 2 weeks in Nassau, I'd gladly look at color pictures of your tonsils. But as it
Well, I
is,
thought a motel was a little sordid, and I would have gladly picked up your check, except that my cashier is very nosy. And if she saw me paying for some woman...
Forget it. You've got a lot of courage. I was surprised you took a chance giving me an extra shrimp in the shrimp cocktail. Listen, it's really been terrific, Mr. Cashman. I don't know when I've had a better time. You certainly pour a beautiful glass of scotch. My compliments to your mother's housekeeping.
Where are you going?
Outside to look for cigarette butts, and then home. Don't worry, no one will notice me leaving the building. I'll walk out backwards. It's been a glorious and memorable 20 minutes. Goodbye, Mr. Cashman.
nervous, are you?
I was just thinking, Mitchell, this is going to be the first Christmas in 13 years that Paul and I will be spending together.
You gotta stop thinking about that. You gotta keep your mind on what we're about to do.
If only he didn't love me so much. It'd be a lot easier if he didn't love me so much. But oh God, how he loves me.
He doesn't love you any more than I do.
Of course he does. He loves me more than any woman deserves to be loved.
Well, if he loves you so damn much, why don't you stay with him?
You're jealous.
Of course I'm jealous. This has never happened to me before. I can't stand the thought of anyone but me touching you. I'm a dentist, Darlene. You know, I can have any woman I want. And all I want is you.
Oh, Mitchell.
You remember when he came home once with a new bridge that I had put in terrific pain? I did that on purpose to him. I put in the wrong size bridge. I wanted to hurt him.
I love you, Mitchell.
I'm gonna have you, Arlene.
No, please. Not now. I've got too much on my mind. I wouldn't be any good.
You may be right. All right, let's go over the plan once more. Number one, I open the door.
2, I say, come in, Paul, and don't ask any questions.
3, I hit him over the head with a lamp.
4, I give him a karate chop on the neck.
5, I hit him over the head with a chair.
6, I shove a handkerchief in his mouth so he can't scream.
7, I give him the injection and he sinks to his knees.
8, we drag him into the bathroom.
And we dump him into the bathtub, face down, and hold his head under the water for as long as it takes.
Oh, I thought, kiss me. I've got to have you, Mitchell.
Not now, Arlene. You wouldn't be any good, remember?
Poor Paul. He's gonna hate this so much. But what about me? Am I not entitled to life? Don't I deserve to know tenderness, warmth, and passion without having to get up in the middle of the night, get dressed, and take a taxi home? Oh, Mitchell. I don't know if happiness will ever be in the cards for a woman like me.
Gotta keep thinking positive, Arlene. Where the hell is he? He said he'd be here at 6.
Not if he's in the middle of a deal. You know, when you're selling used cars, you can spend the whole day promising a guy the moon.
Oh, I know. I bought my mother's Oldsmobile from him. The day after the warranty expired, the motor fell out.
Paul used to tell me, after he'd had a few beers, that when you buy a used car, you're buying somebody else's troubles.
Well, it's my turn now. He thinks he's coming up to talk about a deal on some stolen cars.
I used to love him. I think I used to love him more than he loved me. And suddenly things started to reverse themselves. I found myself being loved more than I could love in return. Have you any idea what it's like, being loved more than you can possibly love in return?
Of course I do.
It drives you crazy. So you force yourself to love that person more than you do. And before you know it, you hate him for putting you through all this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Thoroughly. God, when you two came into my office to get that first checkup, I could have sworn you were the happiest couple on earth.
When I met Paul Miller, I was young. I was foolish. I was innocent. But then I started reading. First newspapers, then magazines, and suddenly, before I knew it, books. Little by little, I outgrew him. He went to the right, I went to the left. He went in, I went out. I went up, he went down. I went here, he went there.
I couldn't live with a guy like that.
But he tried his best. He gave me everything. A house, furniture, clothes, silverware. I've got 5 watches.
Nobody needs 5 watches.
Of course not. Oh, sure. Paul and I I didn't know any better. My eyes were still closed. I hadn't awakened as a person yet. But then when I met you, why, the whole thing really crystallized. I wasn't the same girl Paul had slept with thousands and thousands. Thousands.
Arlene, I don't want to hear numbers.
Mitchell, he is still my husband.
Well, that's all about change.
Oh, kiss me, kiss me. That's
Bad timing. Una momento. I told him on the phone that I was Mexican.
You have a very good accent.
Thank you.
You know, I can't help but wonder, do we really have the right to take another person's life?
Of course not. Of course not. That's why it's called murder. Look, Arlene, you want total happiness, don't you?
Oh, yes, yes.
Well, he's keeping you from total happiness.
Oh, I'm so confused.
Look, what do you say we try to talk to him first? Who knows, he might even agree to a divorce.
Oh, never. The poor guy loves me too much.
Well, let's give it a try. And if he says no and we have to kill him, at least our conscience will be clear. Un momento. What do you say, Arlene?
Okay, we'll try it, but don't get your hopes up.
Oh, I love you, Arlene.
I love you, Mitchell.
Think positive.
All right, but I wouldn't unplug the bathtub just yet.
You feel so good.
So do you. But you look tired. You okay?
I've looked this way for years. You just haven't noticed. Anyway, I feel better now I'm here. This room's always had that effect on me.
It never changes, does it?
Not the only thing that doesn't.
I find that comforting.
Even old Chalmers is the same. He must be 75 by now. Remember when we came here, we called him Old Chalmers? He must have been the same age then we are now.
That I don't find so comforting.
We were very young.
Have we changed much?
Of course. I grew up with you. Remember the dumb lies I used to tell?
I miss them.
I don't. It was no fun being that insecure.
And what about me? Have I grown up too?
I have a feeling you were already grown up when I met you. Tell me something.
Anything.
Why is it that every time I look at you, I want to put my hands all over you?
That's another thing that hasn't changed. You were always a sex maniac.
Let's see if I can get a fire going. You know, I figured out with the cost of firewood, it's cheaper to buy furniture, break it up, and burn it.
Things that tight?
No, I'm okay. I've been doing some teaching at UCLA.
Music?
Accounting. The way things keep changing, figures are still the only things that don't lie. Doris, what made you sell your business?
How did you know that?
I'll tell you later. What did you do?
I was bought out by a chain. It was the right offer at the right time.
You don't miss the action?
Not yet. I guess I'm still enjoying being one of the idle rich.
What do you do with yourself?
Oh, I read, watch TV, play a little golf, visit my grandchildren. You know, all the jet set stuff.
I thought you loved working.
Well, there was another factor. Harry had a heart attack. It turned out to be a mild one, but he needed me at the time. Anyway, it's not as if I'm in permanent retirement. There's a local election coming up in a few months, and I've been approached to run.
On what ticket?
Independent.
Figures. Harry's okay now?
Runs 4 miles a day and has a body like Mark Spitz. Unfortunately, he still has a face like Ernest Borgnine. You want to hear a nice story about him?
Sure.
When they were wheeling him out of intensive care, he looked up at the doctor and said, "Doc, give it to me straight. When I get out of here, will I be able to play the piano? The doctor said, of course. And Harry said, funny, I couldn't when I came in. The thing is, Harry never makes jokes. But he saw how panicky I was, and he wanted to make me feel better.
How are you and Harry? Emotionally?
Comfortable.
Comfortable?
It's not such a bad state. The word's been given a bad reputation by the young. Where's your luggage? Still in the car?
I didn't bring any. I can't stay though.
Why?
Look, I have so much to say and a short time to say it, so I better start. In the first place, Helen's known about us for 10 years.
When did you find that out?
6 months ago.
She never confronted you with it before?
No,
What made her tell you now?
she didn't. We have a very close friend, Connie. Have I mentioned her before? Connie told me. It's amazing. 10 years and she never even hinted that she knew. That may be the nicest story I've ever told about you.
Your wife is an amazing woman.
She passed away, Doris. I lost her. It was all very fast. I'm sorry to blurt it out like that. I just couldn't think of a graceful way to tell you. You okay, honey?
It's so strange. I never met Helen, and I feel as if I just lost my best friend. It's crazy. Are the kids okay?
They'll survive. I don't think I could have gotten through this without them.
Oh, I just wish you tried to reach me.
I did. That's when I found out you sold the stores. I called, they gave me your home number. I let the phone ring 4 times, and then I hung up. But it made me feel better knowing you were there if I needed you.
I wish you'd spoken to me.
I didn't want to intrude. I didn't feel I had the right.
My God, that's terrible. We should have been together.
I've been thinking about us a lot lately. Everything we've been through together. All the things we've shared. The times we've helped each other. Did you know that we've made love 113 times? I figured it out on my Beaumont calculator. You know, it's a wonderful thing to know someone that well. There's absolutely nothing about you I don't know. It's 2 sugar, right?
No, 1.
So I don't know everything about you. I don't know who your favorite movie stars are, and I couldn't remember the name of your favorite perfume. I racked my brain, but I couldn't remember.
That's funny. It's my sin.
But I do know that in 24 years, I've never been out of love with you. I find that incredible. So what do you say, Doris? You want to get married?
Married? We shouldn't even be doing this.
I'm serious.
Why, you really are, aren't you?
What do you think I was? Just another summer romance? A simple yes will do.
There's no such thing.
What is it?
Oh, I was just thinking of how many times I've dreamed of you asking me this. It's pulled me through a lot of bad times. I want to thank you for that.
What did you say to me all those times?
I always said yes.
And you're hesitating now? Do you realize I'm giving you the opportunity to marry a man who has known you for 24 years and cannot walk by you without wanting to grab your ass?
You always were a sweet talker.
That's because if I told you how I really felt about you, it would probably sound like a medley of cliches from popular songs. Will you marry me?
I can't.
Why not?
I'm already married.
You feel you have to stay because he needs you?
No. It's a lot of things. Affection, respect, a sense of continuity. We share all the same memories. It's comfortable. Maybe that's what marriage is all about in the end. I don't know.
Will you tell me why I had to be so stupid 5 years ago to help you get back together? I mean, why was I so damn generous?
Because you felt the same way about Helen then as I do about Harry now. And if I hadn't gone back to Harry, you might have been stuck with me permanently. And you were terrified.
You could always see through me, couldn't you?
That's okay. I always loved what I saw.
Well, I want you now.
You can still have me once a year, same time, same place.
Doris, I need a wife. I'm not the kind of man who can live alone. I want you to marry me, but when I came here, I knew there was a chance you might say no. What I'm trying to say is that without you, I'll probably end up with Connie. She knows all about you. The point is, she's not the sort of woman who would accept the situation. I suppose what I'm saying is that we'll probably never see each other again. You're trembling.
Thought of never seeing you again absolutely terrifies me.
Doris, for God's sake, marry me.
I can't.
I wish I could think of something that would break your heart, to make you burst into tears and come away with me.
You know us Italians. We never cry.
I've got to catch a plane. Who were your favorite movie stars?
Cary Grant, Marlon Brando, Laurence Olivier.
You've come such a long way.
We both have.
I can't believe this is happening to us. Toss in the mouth.
What about Connie?
Connie's 89 years old. I wanted you to marry me, and I figured if you thought someone else wanted me, I might stand a better chance. I was desperate, okay? For once in my life, I wanted a happy ending. Can't you understand that? Look, I don't want to talk about it anymore. All I know is that I'm back, and I'm going to keep coming back every year until our bones are too brittle to risk contact.
Is same time another year. And you remember, or you may remember, that same time next year where this couple, when they were quite young, probably in their early 20s, met each other and then met for one day a year, every year. They were both married to different people. Well, this is the sequel to Same Time Another Year. And this is several years later. His wife has died. Her husband has, they've gotten a divorce. And now they are finally going to get married after all those years of meeting each other one same time next year. Two of my veterans are in this show, Jack Delson and Shirl Grayson. And it's a delight to see, for me, to see how the students come back and grow and just become more and more wonderful.
God, this is depressing.
What?
There's a typo in the Times.
Sign of our times. I've even noticed some misspellings lately.
This is the obituaries. Imagine having a typo in your obituary. Said the man died of a dart attack.
Was he a pygmy?
Could have been worse. It could have been spelled with an F.
It's no good, George. We have to talk about this.
About what?
Last last night. The sex.
Why? I've had worse.
When? Anyway, it wasn't the sex. It was acting. We were so awkward and tense.
You thought I was tense.
Even your earlobes were clenched. And I was hyperventilating. Didn't you notice that?
I thought it was delayed passion.
No, apprehension.
About what?
The wedding, obviously.
Well, isn't that natural?
Not for us, not at this stage. No. Admit it, George. You felt apprehensive too.
No, Doris. With me, I'm sure it was the anticipation.
Then you have no doubts about this.
None at all. At least no more than to be expected.
Then you better finish getting dressed. The wedding's in half an hour.
Oh, God. This is weird, isn't it?
Weird?
Everything above board. Members of our families being here. Strange seeing them after all these years meeting.
What exactly did you tell your daughter about us?
The truth. Well, sort of. I said we were high school sweethearts who were torn apart right after the prom when our parents moved. And we met again by accident. Look, it's the last lie I'll tell.
We all lie, George. As soon as we're born, they put clothes on us, which for the rest of our lives lie about our bodies. In my case, a lot. Can you help me with this?
Sure. You know, if I had $1 for every time I've done this, I'd have...
$76.
What did you tell your kids?
Well, I fudged a little. I told them we met on a cruise a few months ago.
Some fudge.
Oh, I think they probably figured out an approximation of what happened. But I think it's not so bad for them to have a little mystery surrounding their mother. I just hope Father Mulcahy keeps his mouth shut. It was nice of you to agree to his marrying us.
Well, he's been such a good alibi over the years. I thought he at least deserved a few glasses of champagne. Have you heard from your ex, Harry?
Not in person, but I didn't expect to. He's in the South Pacific with his girlfriend, visiting all the battlefields he fought on.
Very romantic.
He sent a telegram.
My dear Doris, as you know, I am not very good with words, so please excuse the grammar and give me high marks for sincerity. Meeting you was the best thing that ever happened to me. I always thought that us getting together was my reward for spending 2 years in a Japanese prison camp. I know you probably wouldn't have married me if you weren't pregnant, and I've always appreciated your sticking by me. It has been a wonderful roller coaster ride, and all in all, I couldn't have asked for a better wife or mother to our children. Here, you read the rest.
That is why I tried to give you some running room every year. I didn't think you were in it for the duration. Ha ha. At this age, I think everybody should get what they want. And it seems as if we've pulled that off. I'm on Iwo Jima with a lovely woman with a nice figure, and you have the love of your life, so more power to us. From what you have told me about him, he seems a little crazy. But he must have had some sense to have kept coming back every year. Anyway, it takes all kinds. I sincerely hope that your new marriage will be as loving and filled with joy as ours was. Harry.
He's quite a guy.
George, stop that.
I just... Stop what?
Grinning.
Ribbing?
It's inappropriate to cry over my ex-husband's telegram on our wedding day.
I just don't know how you could have left him. Maybe it was a mistake.
A mistake? Do you know what you're saying?
Okay. So I'm a little emotional, okay? I just wish I'd had the chance to meet him. Maybe we should have invited him to the wedding.
Oh, my daughter did. She's very big on family. So, what do you think of them?
Your family? Well, I feel like I've known them all my life. They do look a little different than I anticipated them.
Oh, in what way?
Well, they're so old. Most of them were older than we were when we met.
How else are they different?
Well, I didn't realize your son Tony was so short.
Tony is not short.
He's not.
He's 5'6".
Maybe in his elevator shoes.
He does not wear elevator shoes.
Then why does he walk so tilted?
Tilted?
Yeah, when he's walking, he looks like the leaning tower. Oh, let's forget it.
You should talk. Over the years, you've used every appurtenance known to man.
Why? Because I wear a hearing aid? Is that it? Is that supposed to be some sort of character flaw?
Well, I just don't like your attacking my children's height.
Doris, will you stop? I think your children are perfectly acceptable. Look, none of them is going to do the London Times crossword puzzle in ink. So what? Why do Americans demand that their children be bright? What if they're a bit dim?
Well, they may be a bit dim, but at least they have some manners.
What's that supposed to mean?
Your daughter is the most spoiled kid I've ever seen.
Well, what do you expect? She's been raised without a mother.
Is that any reason to take one bite out of every chocolate candy in the box?
Big deal. Big goddamn deal.
Oh, George, calm down. After today, we won't have to see much of each other's kids. This isn't about our children, is it? This is about us. Do you want to call the wedding off, George? Have you changed your mind?
Have you?
I asked you first.
Look, there are over 50 guests out there.
Please, just tell me, George.
Okay. I'm terrified that we can't run a mile.
What?
Maybe we're just sprinters.
You've been around the track a few times.
Yeah, but the finish line was always in sight. Now it's off somewhere in infinity.
George, why don't we drop this charade?
What charade?
This charade of your being the nervous bridegroom. We both know you're going through it.
Oh?
I'm aware that you know, George,
About what?
about my cancer. My time is not unlimited.
How long have you known that I found out?
Right afterwards. You're a terrible liar, my love.
Why didn't you tell me?
Why didn't you tell me?
I was afraid you'd think I was marrying you just to look after you.
Aren't you?
Yes, but not just for that.
I know that.
You do?
Yes.
Bit of a know-it-all, aren't you?
Something you're going to have to learn to live with.
Talk to your doctor.
Spoke to him. He's thinking of going into the witness protection program to avoid your calls.
He says we got a few good years. Good luck. More.
I know that too.
You don't think you'll get bored with me?
It's quite possible. Give me another 38 years and I'll let you know. And I'll lie.
Well, you look beautiful.
And you look handsome.
We make a lovely couple.
Always have.
Take my arm, my love. There are certain traditions that have to be observed.
Pleasure on earth when you're young and hard. And as rich as you are, it is better by far to be young at heart.
program, pulling us up by the bootstrap, being kind and patient.